Pandora's box has been opened, and the censorship machine has been let loose. As soon as an individual is targeted by the left for censorship, it's not just their platform on a handful of social networks that's at stake, it's actually a form of political persecution. The intent behind the purge is to completely unperson the individual, which is why it's kind of bizarre to see certain established YouTube creators like Philip DeFranco or Boogie unable to understand the slippery slope this censorship creates. In the case of Boogie recently, just like with DeFranco, he couldn't bring himself to defend Alex Jones, but said that it's great that free speech allows Alex to have his own website in order to reach his audience. Except Alex Jones' website, Infowars.com, is also under attack. Infowars.com has been under attack all week and was down for quite a few days. Again, the intent behind the purge is to not just remove you from one or two platforms, it is to remove you from the public square entirely. It is to erase you from existence. It is an anti-competitive, monopolistic strategy to make it impossible for a person to earn a living. It's sad that some members of the YouTube mainstream can't see this, because in truth, eventually once conservatives, centre-right and right-wingers have been removed from these platforms, the left-leaning folks will be next in line, because they will be the only remaining competition for the legacy media to deal with. And I'm sick of seeing this constant pivoting from certain content creators who will initially claim that anyone who thinks they're being targeted in a censorship campaign is just being paranoid or conspiratorial, and then when it actually happens, they say, well, they're a private company, they can do what they want, or, well, maybe they shouldn't have published that hate speech in the first place, whatever hate speech is. This is bootlicking. This is a bootlicking defeatist mentality, whereby these people shift their opinions on the subject of free speech and censorship just because they want to be seen to be playing nice with the biased corporations they rely on for their careers. They want to retain the red bat phone to YouTube support. They want to be invited on the conference calls with YouTube staff. They want the invites to the annual YouTube Rewind collaboration videos with all of the other brand-safe content creators, and no doubt, they want to be able to shake Susan Wojcicki's hand and remain on side with the company. Ultimately, all the YouTube mainstream creators really want is to make sure they're censored last. Alex Jones is being removed from everywhere just because he's Alex Jones, and if this really was simply a case of a few private companies removing him in order to comply with a rabid witch hunt mob, then why was his website DDoSed several times this week? And you can guarantee that Minds, BitChute and Gab will be targeted next because he has a presence there. What these mainstream YouTubers need to realize is that their own words and past content can be used against them. For example, this article from the Washington Compost should tell you everything you need to know about the puritanical dystopia we're currently living in. Said something you'd like to forget? CNN's Andrew Kaczynski won't let it go. The head of CNN's investigative K-file digs deep into the digital realm to exhume damning words, especially from Trump appointees. Your past words on social media can and will be used against you if they want to contrive a reason to ban someone. The inner party would be very proud. Except, of course, if those past tweets are from the likes of Sarah Jong and they're about white people, in which case that stuff gets a free pass. And even a blue check mark. My point is, once authoritarians get their hands on the ban hammer, every other person's speech becomes a nail. Stefan Molyneux was recently targeted for termination with 2 strikes applied to his YouTube channel, which have now been removed after significant public outcry on social media. It sure didn't take long for the censorship to escalate after Jones was axed, did it? Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch had his Patreon shut down because apparently MasterCard got a bit twitchy about his work. Very odd. Is MasterCard implying that it's against people who are against Islamic extremism or something? Seriously, what message do they think that's going to communicate? I won't lie, this stuff can be very depressing. It's an existential worry for many of us, and I'll admit that it's something I've lost some sleep about. And yet I know that this is the most important fight of our generation, no matter how exhausting. We can't give up or let ourselves get down about this, because to accept this fate is to accept a world without freedom, and that's just not a world worth living in for ourselves or for our children. Some people have asked, what happens next as this censorship and deplatforming continues or goes to the next level? Will some people be denied bank accounts or the ability to rent or buy property?
Where does that line of logic end? Banks are just going to start refusing your service? What about landlords? What about shops? I'm not serving you food, you're a Nazi. Where on earth does this go?
Where does it go next? Well, in that case, we all essentially become Tommy Robinson. He is and has been a warning for all of us for a long time now. And yet, Despite all of this darkness and negativity, I feel compelled to offer a white pill nonetheless. Alt media is coming, and mainstream social media sites are losing a generation of young people. Users they will never get back, just like MySpace. People will gravitate towards the places where they can be most free, and if that means we all become essentially the modern online equivalent of pirate radio stations, then so be it. Decentralized technologies are already here to ensure that when the time comes and our exodus is complete, we will not be speaking into a wilderness. Now, I wish I could offer a time frame as to when all of this insanity will be over, but in truth, history has shown us that in such times as these, the fight to retain or regain our freedoms is often a very long and difficult road, and that's an understatement. But I can't help but think that this is a time to build and offer solutions rather than simply focusing on negatives, and that's why many people seem to really appreciate my previous video on alt tech. As this discussion is now vital, I'm going to be focusing on it more on the channel. You know, I'm actually really glad I never changed my channel name from Computing Forever, because I think in many ways it's come full circle. Politics and technology are beginning to overlap as we must find innovative solutions in order to maintain freedom of speech. So the 5 primary topics of the channel will be as follows. I will continue to do How Is This a Thing, of course, both on YouTube and with occasional exclusive episodes on BitChute, which I've already done one BitChute exclusive of How Is This a Thing. You can check it out by following the link below in the description. I have 16,000 subscribers over on BitChute right now, an increase of 5,000 in about a week. So please join me over there. It's essential that you get a BitChute account now. Lots of us are already over there. Get used to the interface. It has a tip jar monetization system, and you can help to support this wonderful peer-to-peer web torrent site that's going to be essential in the future. I want you to know that when it all comes crashing down on the big social networks, you know exactly where to find me. Also, for those wondering, The Dave Cullen Show, my second channel, which has 59,000 subscribers on YouTube, is mirrored over on BitChute as well, so you can follow both channels, Computing Forever and The Dave Cullen Show, over on BitChute. Number 4, I will continue to do tech videos, including laptop reviews, because that's where it all started for me and I'm still passionate about it. Number 3, social commentary and lolcow content. Occasional fun, light-hearted video responses to regressive absurdity and social justice provide much-needed levity and a break from the intensity of the heavy subjects. Number 2, space science and future tech. Previously, I've covered Mars colonization, humanity's return to the moon, next-generation propulsion systems, future medical technologies, self-driving cars, and dystopian general artificial intelligences. These videos are fun for me to make, that's why I do them. They also give me a nice reprieve from the more serious stuff, while also providing a step back from the constant day-to-day, minute-to-minute intense rat race of the news cycle. It's important to occasionally explore big-picture topics that are more inspiring and thought-provoking, and that have the power to unite humanity under a common goal, rather than just focusing on the political nonsense that divides us and atomizes society. Finally, number 1, alt tech and anti-censorship videos. As I've said before, I'm going to be getting more into this stuff. Decentralized platforms, cryptocurrencies, VPNs, open source applications, peer-to-peer networking, and much more besides. Anything we can use to break free from the monopolies run by the big Silicon Valley behemoths. I want to offer solutions and positivity, workarounds to the challenges we face. Be sure to subscribe to me also over on Minds and Gab. Try to remain positive, guys. Things are always darkest before the dawn, and now is not the time to self-censor. It's a time to keep the head up and continue to speak out. Thanks very much for watching this video on whatever platform you found it on, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.